Hey y'all, thanks for stopping in. So if Nikki Haley wasn't done already, which she really is, and she needs to back out of these primaries and put her support behind Trump. But after this news is dropped, I don't see how her campaign can move forward. It's exclusive from the Daily Mail. Nikki Haley did cheat on her husband Michael, had affairs with her comms consultant, and a married South Carolina lobbyist before she became governor. Sworn affidavits and new witnesses claim. I guess we'll have to say allegedly on that because they're claims, but a sworn affidavit means that a person is willing to go to jail, essentially, if what they put on this affidavit is proven false. So, we'll take it for what it is, right? Somebody's willing to go to jail over their statement. Let's just read the article and find out a little bit more. Presidential candidate Nikki Haley falsely denied cheating on her husband when she was accused of engaging in 2 extramarital affairs during her gubernatorial campaign. Multiple sources who worked with her claim. Man, that's crazy, 2 of them. New witnesses have come forward telling the DailyMail.com that Haley's denials of 2 alleged 2008 affairs are false and that the supposed trysts were brazen and widely known among South Carolina politicos. Will Folks, 49, and Larry Marchant, 61, both signed affidavits in 2010 alleging they had a sexual relationship with the then South Carolina lawmaker before she went on to become governor. While the contents of the affidavits were described by major news outlets at the time, this is the first time they've been published outside of Folks' own document, which he published on his blog. Haley, 51, denied both at the time, saying she was 100% faithful to the father of her 2 children and husband of 28 years, Michael Haley, who was then deployed in Afghanistan with the National Guard in 2012. Oh man, if this is true, she's really a piece of crap. Haley now frequently cites him as a reason for her presidential candidacy. Multiple GOP insiders told DailyMail.com that they were intimately aware of Haley's infidelity as a South Carolina lawmaker, including tales of steamy liaisons in the back of her Cadillac SUV, canoodling in her lover's laps at bars, and nights spent together at a Columbia, South Carolina duplex. Haley has not responded to Daily Mail's requests, so the news comes as Haley's campaign gears up for the January 23rd New Hampshire primary, a fight to regain second place in the race for Republican presidential nominee after Ron DeSantis scored a 2-point margin over her with 21% in the vote in the Iowa caucuses on Monday. Sources spoke to DailyMail.com about Haley's alleged affairs after noticing her rosy references to her relationship with her husband, a major in the National Guard who is currently deployed in Africa on her presidential campaign trail. "I'm doing this for my husband and his military brothers and sisters. They need to know their sacrifice matters," she said in a speech reported by CBS News in December. Nikki Haley claims that her trying to be president is the linchpin in support for her military husband and brothers and sisters. How does that even make sense? Her most recent campaign ads open with photographs of Michael's 2013 homecoming from his first deployment to Afghanistan. Back in 2007, Folks was shopping Haley's political message as her communications consultant while she served as a member of the South Carolina House of Representatives. In a 2010 affidavit obtained by DailyMail.com, Folks stated that he and Haley engaged in an inappropriate physical relationship that included numerous instances of inappropriate sexual contact. He said he first kissed Haley in a car in early 2007 and that he had regular trysts with her at his apartment in downtown Columbia. He got married in June 2008. "Representative Haley and I shared our first kiss while sitting in her parked car outside of McDougal's restaurant and bar in downtown Columbia," Folks wrote in October 10th affidavit. The kiss took place in early 2007 following an evening with friends at the nearby Liberty Tap Room. After this first kiss, Rep. Haley drove us to a parking lot behind the neighborhood center at Emily Douglas Park, where we parked for approximately 45 minutes. There we slid to the back seat of her Cadillac SUV so Rep. Haley could climb on top of me. That was a quote. Folks said that the alleged affair continued through spring 2007 with trysts at his Columbia apartment, and that a few other romantic encounters occurred in her SUV, including one in the parking lot of her South Carolina Policy Council and in her state house office. Ooh, sound like Bill Clinton. He wrote that he broke it off in June 2007 when he started dating the woman he went on to marry the following year. Larry Merchant Jr., 61, a Columbia lobbyist, also wrote a sworn statement that year that he had dinner, drinks, and sex with Haley in her hotel room at a Salt Lake City conference in June 2008. At the time, Haley's 2 children, Rena and Nayland, were about 10 and 7. Rep. Nikki Haley and I were in Salt Lake City attending a conference together on June 14th and 15th, 2008, Merchant wrote in his affidavit. We were both staying at the Salt Lake Marriott downtown. Haley and I returned to the hotel together. We went back to her room where we had sexual intercourse, and I spent the remainder of the evening. I left her room at approximately 6 a.m. I came forward publicly on this matter after being contacted by the press and after hearing Haley claim that she had been 100% faithful to her husband in response to the folks' allegations when I knew her statements were absolutely false. Marchant, who was married at the time, divorced in 2013 with his wife citing the alleged Haley affair in court papers. The Republican presidential candidate managed to successfully quash the allegations and avoid scandal, and ultimately went on to be elected governor in November 2010. But one South Carolina GOP insider told DailyMail.com they knew about Haley's alleged affair with Marchant at the time. She was in Marchant's office all the time. She'd be there at 11 or midnight. The two of them would be drinking, a former associate of Haley said. The GOP insider said he had also seen Haley get into the back of her off-white Cadillac SUV with her other alleged beau. I saw them sitting in it a few times with the windows steamed up, he said. A second prominent South Carolina Republican said he regularly saw the distinctive Cadillac outside Folks' duplex in Columbia, apparently staying overnight. I became curious when I saw an SUV parked outside early in the morning and late at night. It had legislative tags. It wasn't hard to figure out who it was, he said. He added that Haley was not secretive on her alleged romancing. Goodness. Looks like this is the affidavit here. You see it signed by Folks. Looks like the other one here is signed by Marchant. A lot of people saw her sitting on laps, wrapped arm in arm. I saw her myself when she was sitting on Larry's lap, he claimed. A third witness, one of Haley's former campaign staffers, told DailyMail.com he had no doubt about the nature of their relationship with Folks and Marchant. When she went on having the affairs, she and her husband were having a lot of problems and were on the verge of divorce, the ex-staffer said. There's no question she and Will were having an affair. And that's messed up. Her husband's over fighting for the country in Afghanistan, and she's over here acting, like she's not married. Honestly, I don't know why he didn't divorce her when he came back and all these allegations first hit the ground. Maybe he will now, but we'll just have to wait and see on that part. Will was not sober at the time. They liked to drink at Zaz and Momo's in Columbia. Nikki was a big wine drinker. They would sit and canoodle. It was totally out in the open. Everyone in South Carolina politics knew about it. I saw Haley and Marchant together many times. A fourth source, a senior political officer in South Carolina, claimed Folks confessed to him he had sex with Haley in her car in a restaurant parking lot. In the South Carolina legislature, there are two types. The people who believe not enough gets done because there aren't enough lawmakers and lobbyists sleeping together, and people who are holier than thou and say that having an affair violates the 10 Commandments, the political official said. Wow. The claims of Haley's infidelity were first splashed publicly during her campaign for governor in 2010. Local paper The Free Times had been investigating Folks and Haley, and when its reporter questioned the male aide in May that year, he decided to preempt the story by admitting to an inappropriate physical relationship on his blog. Haley responded the same day, categorically denying the allegations. I have been 100% faithful to my husband throughout our 13 years of marriage, she said in a statement. She doubled down on a Columbia radio station saying the claim against me is categorically and totally false, calling it South Carolina politics at its worst. Folks, who had been a public supporter of her gubernatorial campaign, then posted text messages on his blog that purported to show others knew of the alleged affair. The texts were between Folks, Haley's then Chief of Staff Tim Peterson, and Wesley Donahue, a consultant for one of the political opponents. I don't give an F if you believe me or not. You're the one who bragged about it, Donahue wrote to Folks in one of the purported texts. Pearson engaged Folks to deny the affair, allegedly writing that if they keep this under wraps, Haley is going to win. The following month, Marchant came forward with his claim of the 2008 one-night stand with Haley. After a night together of dinner and drinks with other participants of the conference, Representative Haley and I returned to the hotel together, Marchant said. We went back to her room where we had sexual intercourse. I spent the remainder of the evening and left her room at approximately 6 a.m. Haley's spokesman, Pearson, called the allegation a false and outrageous desperate attack from a losing candidate's paid campaign consultant in a final week of the race. Pearson was referencing the fact that Marchant had only just quit as then Lieutenant Governor Andre Bauer's campaign against Haley in the gubernatorial. So look, when it comes to politics, there's a lot of false accusations that go around out there. Look at Donald Trump and what he's dealing with right now with the Jean Carroll lady or whatever her name is. People can make false claims and drag you through court for a long time. The big difference, though, is that this story has, 4 people kind of corroborating the story. The 2 men that are involved are directly saying on signed affidavits that if falsified, they go to jail. But it looks like she needs to go to court and prove herself innocent, in my opinion. But I'm wrapping up there. I thought this was pretty interesting considering the treatment that Trump gets versus the treatment that his opponents get, especially considering that this particular opponent is only supported by Democrats who are voting in primaries trying to keep Trump off the ballot for 2024. And those same people will then go and vote for Biden on the presidential ticket. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.